This video is to help you with the Angular Calculations 4 exercise in your workbook. There are only 5 questions, but there's quite a few concepts to cover, so I want to discuss just geometry basically, and to help you understand the concepts behind what you're trying to calculate. And if you understand the concepts, you should be able to get the answer. So dimension A is the first one that you need to calculate, and actually they give you the answer right there in the reading for this exercise. So and it's just a simple concept of there are 360 degrees in a circle. These, according to the note, there are 7 holes here that are equally spaced, and when you divide 360 by 7, you get 51.428571 degrees. Okay, well, we don't want this answer in decimal degrees. We want the answer in degrees, minute, second format, which I've actually done in a previous video, but the workbook actually covers it again in the reading of how to convert decimal degrees to degrees, minutes, seconds. So make sure you do the reading there, and you'll be fine on dimension A. Dimension B. I want to point something out about the outside holes. One of the outside holes is on the vertical axis that runs through the part. Later on, that'll be important because it'll help us do some calculations. For the 4 inside circles, none of those circles are lined up on either the vertical or the horizontal axis. So they give us a dimension to use, okay? And we can use that dimension to calculate some of the other dimensions in the drawing. But they give us this dimension, and they actually want us to calculate the dimension, the angular dimension between the vertical axis and this axis that runs through that hole. Okay, so let me go over to my live view here, and I just want to point out a couple of things. One thing I think it's important that you understand is that, and you've probably already seen this, when you have 2 lines that intersect, and imagine those are straight. If you know this angle, we'll call that x degrees, okay? Then this angle is also going to be equal to x degrees, okay? Same thing with the remaining 2 angles here. We'll call this one y, okay? And again, same concept, since the lines intersect, this angle is also angle y, okay? What else do you know from that little diagram? Well, x plus y should equal 180, right? Because the angular measurement for a straight line is 180 degrees, so you could just say that x plus y equals 180. You could also say that 2x plus 2y equals 360 degrees, okay? Because x plus y should all equal 360 degrees. So that's kind of a little warm-up concept for this exercise. And so as I mentioned, the workbook gives you this dimension, but they want you to find this dimension. Well, how do you do that? And that's dimension B. Okay, so well, let's see if we can apply what I just said to find that measurement. So we know this angle. Okay, so if I were to continue this line through the object, okay, that's just an imaginary line. Since that angle is xx degrees, I called mine xx. Okay, you'll have to look at the workbook for the actual measurement. That angle is also xx degrees. All right. Well, if I know that these 4 holes are equally spaced, 360 divided by 4 is 90. Okay, so that means that there are 90 degrees between here and here, between here and here, between here, and I can go ahead and draw a line through here as well. Okay, so all these are right angles. Okay. Also, you know, we have the vertical and horizontal axis, so those are right angles too. Okay. But let's see how we can actually find find the measurement that we need to find. Okay, so since this is 90, this is also 90. Okay, I know that's a really big angle diagram, but I'm trying to avoid the square and the right angle um, notation that I made here. But this is 90 between the vertical and the horizontal axis. So if this is angle XX, then this angle must be 90 degrees minus XX degrees. Okay. Well, now we go back to this is 90 degrees. Okay, it's 90 degrees between this line we drew and this line we drew. Well, if that is 90 degrees there, and we've calculated this angle is 90 minus XX, then we should be able to find B. Okay, so let's take a look here. All right, so if we start off with the right angle is 90 degrees, and then we want to subtract this angle. Okay, so we want to subtract 90. I'll put that in parentheses because we're subtracting the whole thing. XX degrees. Okay, so let me distribute my negative sign through. So it's 90 minus 90 plus XX equals B. Okay, so those cancel. So what does that say? That means that B, this angle, equals XX. Okay, so this angle equals that angle. All right, so that's a little bit of geometry, a little bit of algebra to figure that out. Okay, dimension C, they're wanting you to find the angle between this horizontal axis and the angle, the line that extends from the center line through this hole here. Okay, well, how do you do that? Well, what you could do is, since you know the angle between these holes, you could add that measurement up twice. Okay, and then subtract 90 because you know that is 90 degrees. Okay, so you could add those you could add basically dimension A twice and then subtract 90, and you get your answer for C. Just so I won't give away the answer here, let me calculate this dimension between this vertical line here and the line that would extend from the center and go through that hole. So basically this angle here, let me calculate that. Now the way I'm going to do that is, since I have one of these holes that lines up on this vertical axis, I know that the angle between here all the way around to this line is 180 degrees. And I know that there are 1, 2, 3 dimension A's basically, okay, because they're equally spaced. So I can use that, and so I'll subtract 180 minus the 3 dimension A's. Alright, let me go back to my live view. Alright, so dimension A is, and you can see it right there in the answers, 51 degrees, 25 minutes, 40, right in the reading, 43 seconds, okay? And there's 3 of them, so let me just plus 51 degrees, 25 minutes, 43 seconds, plus 51 degrees, 25 minutes, 43 seconds. Okay, so just add them straight down like you would any other addition problem. Okay, so that'd be 129 seconds, 75 minutes, and 153 degrees. Okay, what's wrong with that? Well, the maximum number of minutes that you can have is 60. Okay, and this is 75, so that's too much. The maximum number of seconds you can have is 60. Well, this is over twice as much. Okay, so what you can do is do a little conversion. This doesn't change anything. It's just, but it's necessary to convert this to something that makes sense. Okay, so there's 129 seconds. All right, so if I divide 129 by 60, 60 will go in 129 2 times, and there's 9 seconds left over. So let me just write down the 9 seconds. And since I have 120 seconds, that's equal to 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to take those 2 minutes and add it to that minutes column. So that now becomes 77 minutes. 153 degrees, 77 minutes, 9 seconds. Well, we still have the problem where we have too many minutes. Okay, so the seconds are okay now. I'm going to divide 60 into 77. Well, it goes in one time, and then I have 17 minutes left over. So I'm going to write the leftover part there. 60 minutes is equal to 1 degree.